Hello and welcome to my channel where we talk about tips and tricks for teaching elementary music. Okay, here's today's video. So today it's really cold here where I am. It's a wind chill factor of about 14 degrees, so I figured I don't need to be going outside. And I figured I would sit here and have story time to put out on my channel. This is the story of my career. All right, let's jump right in. So my junior year of high school, I was thinking about, I knew I was gonna go to college, and I was thinking about what do I wanna study at college. And I had this amazing high school choir director that I just loved. And I was good at singing, and I was good at reading music, and I was taking theory class from her and all sorts of things, like other things that I was doing in high school that kind of led to this thought process that, you know, I really want to be that high school choir director. So I think I want to be a teacher, and my goal is high school choir. And I was like, and I like kids, so, you know, music education, because I knew that if you get a music education degree, it doesn't mean automatically you're going to be a high school choir director. You might be in elementary. And I wasn't opposed to that idea, but my ultimate goal was high school choir director. So fast forward, so I go to college and I get my degree. I ended up graduating I ended up student teaching in the fall. Most people do it in the spring. I student taught in the fall. And so when I graduated from my student teaching experience and from the college degree, it was now December. So I'm filling out applications to all of the districts in my area, and there were no openings. This was the early 90s, and at the time, one of the districts in the area was cutting back on some of its music programs. They had an elementary band program, which I thought was really cool. Not that I'm qualified to teach that, but just cool that they had one. And they decided to cut that program. And so then those elementary band teachers had to go into other music positions, the ones that were already hired. So any elementary music positions that were open got filled really quickly by them. And this happens from time to time in districts where they might decide they want to cut the music program or the art program or anything extra, like say, technology or computer, whatever they might call it in your school, media, you know, it just depends on where they think their money should be spent. And the people that want to do the cutting 9 times out of 10 are not the frontline workers. It's not the teachers. It's not even the principals. It's the powers that be. They're downtown that are given a budget of this much money, and they look at all their data and they say, our math scores are low, or our reading scores are low, or such and such, whatever the situation is. You know, is there something we're doing in the budget that we can cut out that maybe isn't helping us to get to where we want to be? And so sometimes music and art end up on the cutting room floor for that reason. Fortunately, I work for a district that is very pro music and art. They have no intention of cutting anything. They promote us all the time, etc., etc. So I applied to multiple districts in my area, and there were no positions open. So I got a retail job. Well, it was one that I had like in summers and stuff, and I just kind of kept it. But now I was doing that retail job year round, and I ended up doing that for about 2.5 years, until one day somebody was talking to me, and they said that they think that I should try again to apply for a music teaching position because all this money was paid for my degree, and I went through all these classes, and I'm not using my degree, so why don't you, go ahead and try to do that. So I started looking for positions, and there were no openings still in the public school districts, because all of that tightening up they had done budget-wise was still going on. This was the 90s, the early 90s. And I started branching out a little bit and looking at private schools and seeing if there were any hirings. And I eventually found a private school that had a elementary music position open, and I interviewed for it, and I got it. So the elementary music teacher there for 5 years, and I really learned how to teach there. I taught pre-K through 6th grade, and I got really a lot of experience. Unknowingly, I got a lot of experience in like scaffolding and differentiation. If you're not an education person and you don't know those words, those are very education words. Basically, it just means how to teach like a kindergarten student and how to teach a 1st grade student a little bit deeper, 2nd grade student a little bit more, a 3rd grade student a little bit more, etc., etc. And differentiation, that was scaffolding, by the way. And differentiation is when you look at them and you say, okay, this child needs a little bit more. They need to go over this. Maybe I need to make this concept a little bit easier for this student. So instead of them playing three notes on the bell, maybe they're just going to play 2 notes on the bell set, or maybe they're just going to play 1, or maybe I'm going to change the rhythm pattern and make it simpler, right? Okay. And at the same time, being able to look at another student and saying, oh, they're really getting this super quick and they're getting bored. So maybe I'm going to make this a little bit more like, instead of 3 bells, why don't you go ahead and add in an 8th note in there and let me show you what to do instead of straight quarter notes, whatever. So these are the sorts of things that I was learning and figuring out in the process of experimenting. That's what I was doing, a lot of experimentation with what I was doing in the classroom, because since it was a private school, I didn't have a set of objectives that I had to follow, like a state set of objectives or a district set of objectives. I had student books and records that were there, so I had music to draw from, but I wasn't told you must teach tempo dynamics, you must teach quarter note, solfege. I wasn't given like specifics. So it was a lot of like figuring things out on my own. And I really enjoyed that and excelled at that and really got to kind of play around and find some things that really worked for me. So that was a really good time. But remember, my goal was to be a high school choir director. So I did the elementary position there at that private school for 5 years. And then an opening came up to step up and be the high school choir director. So I jumped at that chance, applied, and of course they already knew me because, I'm there and I already know some of the kids because I've been teaching for 5 years and now they're up in high school, some of them. And so they said, sure, we'll take you on. So I now was 7th through 12th grade and I was teaching high school choir, music appreciation to middle school students, handbell choir to high school, and I held on to the 6th grade children's chorus. Okay, if you've ever heard a teacher say, I wasn't made to teach the little ones, or I wasn't made to teach middle school, or I wasn't made to teach high school, believe them, okay? Just because you're a teacher, and just because you have a subject you're really good at, doesn't mean that you can teach that subject to 5-year-olds all the way up to 18-year-olds. Some people may be able to do that, but most of us do better in a particular compartment, whatever that is. And I definitely discovered that elementary was so much fun for me for those 5 years, and middle and high school were just torture. And I was in my early 30s by this point, so it's not like I was super close to the kids' ages, but it just, and I can't even describe it. I was just not made to do that. So much so that I never wanted to teach again. I was going to walk away from education altogether. So we got to the end of that school year and the head of the school called me in his office and he was like, yeah, okay, this was not a great year for you, to which I said, yep. And he says, we're not offering you the position again for next year. And I was like, nope, I don't want it. And he said, but I'll tell you what, I need a person to go into elementary and do 1st and 2nd grade aides. So that means you'd be working with the 1st grade teachers and the 2nd grade teachers, helping them with whatever they need, whether it's grading papers, bulletin boards, substitute teaching with them, walking their kids to and from lunch, whatever the 1st and 2nd grade teachers need you to do, you'll be doing with them. And I was like, sounds good, because at this point it was May. It's too late to find a teaching position anywhere else. Granted, I didn't want to teach again anyway. So it's not like I was looking for a teaching position or even thinking about looking for a teaching position. But in addition to that, I couldn't think of anything else that I wanted to do, or I didn't know where to start, you know. I mean, I probably could have gone back into retail or something like that, but I was kind of like floundering because I have been a teacher now for 6 years, and I kind of thought, this is my jam, this is my groove, you know, for those first 5. I could see myself doing this for a while, that it kind of like nothing else was popping up in my head of what I might want to do. So I was like, sure, I'll be a first and second grade aide. And he was very nice in that he said, and I'll even keep you at your current pay instead of paying you what an aide would be. But we're just going to do this for 1 year. When we get to this 1 year, we're going to have to revisit and see, you know, like if you're going to do a different position somewhere in the building, or if you're going to stay in that position, we're going to change your pay rate, or if you're going to move on to something else or whatever. So I was like, great, do it. I'll do it. So I went ahead and did that for a year. And I found that I remembered, because I hadn't had it for a whole year, how much I love working with kindergarten through 5th grade. I just love working with young children. I love the light bulb moments. I love the enthusiasm. I love being silly with the little kids. I love, you know, the, hey, Miss So-and-so, can you do this? Can you help me with this? I love that. Whereas I think that's part of the reasons why I didn't do so well with the teenagers, because you get a lot of kind of sort of stuff going on. And there's no enthusiasm there anymore, right? Like there is for the little ones. So, so I was like really interested in maybe stepping back into an elementary music position. Now, there was not a position open at this private school, because the person who took it over the year I had left, the year that I was in high school, she was still there and wanted to stay. And I mean, rightfully so. They weren't gonna push her out to bring me back. I mean, that wouldn't have made any sense anyway, you know. So a friend of mine called me up and said, hey, I've been working at such and such district for a year now in a public school as elementary music, and there's so many positions open next year. Susan, you really need to apply. So my friend was in this district, and she said, there's a ton of elementary music positions open, you need to apply. So I applied there, and I applied at some other districts as well, because I thought, why not? And the way they do it is, or they did it at the time, is you interview with Human Resources first. Then once Human Resources passes you on, you go to the music supervisor. And once she passes you on, she passes you out to any principals in the area that have openings. So that's how they did it. And I went to interview with 2 principals in the area, and then I didn't hear anything back. And this was maybe, you know, a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks go by, and I haven't heard anything back from District 1. We're gonna call it District 1, okay? Meanwhile, District 2, another district that I had applied to, calls me up and wants to set up an interview. So I go out and interview with them, and it was, you know, an okay interview. But let me preface all this by saying District 1 is the city next door to the city that I live in. So it was going to be my preferred choice out of these 2 districts, because commuting was going to be easier, okay? District 2, you have to go over some bridges and through some tunnels to get to, and although there's multiple crossings, there's almost always backups, delays, accidents, etc. So it was either going to be an everyday figuring out how my commute was going to go and hoping I made it to school on time, or it was going to be leaving where I lived and go living in this other area, which would mean, you know, changing my whole, you know, regular lifestyle outside of just work, moving away from family, friends, all the other things that I did in life, right? So my preferred one was District 1, okay? But District 2 calls me up, I go out and I interview, and the interview went well, and I came back home. So the music supervisor from District 1 calls me up and says there's another opening at another school, go out and interview with this principal. So I interviewed with that principal, and she and I got along really, really well, and I thought it was a great interview. And you know, I was really hopeful that I would get the position. So I go home, and the way things worked then, and I don't know if they still work this way, is you're not technically hired until Human Resources calls you, and it's a very slow process. But it's August by this point, okay? And school is starting after Labor Day, and teachers are gonna have to be going into their classrooms or whatever by like August 25th or somewhere in that vicinity. And new teachers are supposed to be going to new stuff and all that by no later than, say, August 15th or something like that. And it's like, I don't know, August 3rd, 4th, it's early August. So there's a sense of urgency to get a position. Okay, so now, I get a phone call from District 2. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they said, we want to offer you the position. And I was like, wow. And it was, you know, hesitant because I had just like a day or two before interviewed with this third principal from District 1 and was really hoping to get that position. So I talked to the person on the phone, and I was like, you know, I'm interviewing with District 1 and just had an interview with them the other day and haven't heard back from them either. And I want to find out if there's any possibility, because it would be easier for me to work in District 1 because of where I live than it would be from District 2, which she understood that part. This is a human resource person that I'm talking to from District 2. And I said, because, you know, it's like 4:15, 4:30, somewhere in there. You know, it's getting close to close of business. I said, can I call you back tomorrow with an answer? You know, so I didn't turn her down flat, which is good. You never want to, you know, burn a bridge if you don't have to. And she was like, absolutely. So I got off the phone with her, and I called the music supervisor, who was still in her office, luckily. And I told her everything. I said, look, you know, I interviewed with District 2. They want me, but I really had a good interview with Principal 3 in District 1. Can you just find out if I'm even being considered? Because if I'm not being considered, I'm going to go with District 2. I got to get a position. And she said, hang on. She got off the phone with me. She called the principal. She calls me back up, and she says, so it's not official, because Human Resources has to contact you, but welcome to the district. You're going to be the music teacher at School 3. So I was really happy, and the next day I called up District 2 and told them thank you, but, you know, got to move on. So that is how I got with my current district, and it's been 26 years that I've been with this district, and I haven't thought about moving to another district at all. I have moved around to multiple schools within my district, but I've never thought about switching districts. Part of that is my district is so good at promoting music, and the elementary music department, the teachers are very cooperative with each other. We share a lot with each other, and we have good mentors and all of those things. So fast forward through all of that, and along the way I've worked at multiple schools. I've been on a cart, I've been in a mobile unit, I've taught on a stage, I've been in my own physical room, I've taught by a bedside, I've taught in a cafeteria, I've taught in a lot of places. I currently have my own room. It's a small room, but it's small but mighty. And the current school that I'm at, I've been there, this is my 11th year at this particular school. So I never planned on being like the end-all be-all music teacher. I never planned on being, I didn't even really want to have student teachers. I didn't plan on going to grad school, none of those things. So, you know, the first 10-ish years or so of my public school teaching was getting used to being a public school teacher, because it's very different from a private school, all the things I had to learn with that, and just getting in the groove with all that and figuring things out. And now I had objectives that I had to follow and grades that I had to give, and so it was a big learning curve and just getting really comfortable with those things. And then eventually I decided I wanted to go to grad school, but it wasn't because of wanting to improve myself so much as it was, I need to go to grad school because I don't understand what they're talking about in faculty meetings. They keep bringing up all this education-ese that I don't understand. So I went to grad school. I did an online grad course to do educational leadership, and got my master's degree in that. And that helped me to be able to translate what was going on in the music room with what their expectations were, and vice versa, right? And as a result of that, I have developed more leadership skills, and now I am currently the chair of the department for the resource chair for my school. That means I'm in charge of, for lack of a better word, I'm the head of music, art, PE, media guidance, okay? That they're under my umbrella of, I have to give them information about various things. I have to, I'm responsible for guiding them or whatever. It's not as fancy as you think it is, believe me, okay? It's just really a title, okay? And I've also been a mentor teacher for new teachers that come to the building that are not music, because I'm the only music teacher in the building, but that might be like a new art teacher. I was her mentor when she came because, we're similar in what we have to do in our requirements in the building and all those sorts of things. I've been a mentor teacher to some elementary music teachers throughout the years, a little bit here and there. And recently I was contacted by somebody long distance that wants me to help coach them. So that's kind of a new thing that I'm kind of like stepping out into a little bit and exploring and seeing where that goes. And 11 years ago, I started having student teachers for the first time. And I found that I really, really enjoy that process of working with student teachers. So somewhere along the way, let me just sum it all up. This 16-year-old girl that wanted to be her high school choir director went away to college and got her degree, didn't get a job right away, got a job with a private school, did elementary music, soared at elementary music, had to develop a whole program on her own in elementary music because there were no parameters in place. Stepped into the high school setting, which she thought she always wanted to be in, failed miserably, was never going to teach again, ever. Stepped out and worked with little kids, not even doing music, just working with little kids. Stepped into a public school setting where I had to learn a whole different way of teaching, where I now had objectives and expectations, and I had a supervisor, and I had and actually had people come in and observe me teach and hone my skills so that I could be a well-rounded elementary music teacher that was covering singing, moving, listening, playing, and getting music literacy in there, and all of those other things that are really important for elementary music. To then getting my master's in music, not music, but my master's in educational leadership, which developed my leadership skills, which helped me to understand education, talk, which helped me to be able to translate music to education people and education to music people and to basically to art and PE people as well, or guidance or media. What are they really talking about? What are they really looking for? And then started taking on student teachers and has had, I think I've lost count, I want to say 12 or 13 student teachers, and with the exception of 1 or 2 of them, they have all gone on to have teaching positions, and they're very successful in their careers, and some of them have even stepped into elementary music. So having all those student teachers and getting a chance to share tips and tricks and everything else about how to do music, that's what eventually inspired this YouTube channel that I have. During COVID, when we were all in lockdown and we were teaching remotely and everything else, I really discovered another level of my abilities to do tech, to work with video creation, to all of the stuff that we had to do with Zoom and everything else. And I really kind of came into my own a little bit there, in that I was helping a lot of my fellow elementary music teachers and my fellow elementary academic teachers learn how to do this new tech thing, and so on and so forth, and making videos, how-to videos for them about this is what you need to do, this is what the district is requiring of us, this is how I can break it down for you. And I really felt like I got a real sense of like a jazzy feeling over helping other people to understand how to navigate this extremely new world that we were thrown into when we were virtual teaching. So in 2021, I finally decided to start a YouTube channel for helping elementary music teachers with tips and tricks. And none of that would have come about if it weren't for having gone through that with COVID and helping people navigate things that way, learning how to make videos and whatnot, and having student teachers that I had helped in the classroom one-on-one and with other students and so on. So all of that is how I got to where I am today. So this was a really long story, and whatever version you're watching of this, I promise you I've edited out a lot. The original amount of this story was probably in the 40 plus, if not one hour worth of information. So I hope that you got something out of this story. I hope that if nothing else, that you will realize you're not going to know everything you want to do when you're 17 years old. You're not going to know everything you want to do when you're 30 years old. Okay? If you would have told my 30-year-old self that had just joined the public school system, 30 something years old, however I was, that had just joined the public school system, that eventually I was going to stay with that same public school system for this many years. I was going to have my master's degree, I was going to have cooperating teachers, and I was going to eventually have a YouTube channel with almost 500 subscribers on it. I would have looked at you like you had lost your mind. Okay? So just goes to show, you never know where you're going to end up in life. You never know where this journey called life is going to take you. Okay? So I hope you got something out of my story. And if you want to come back for more tips and tricks for teaching elementary music, or check out some of the other videos on my channel where I get into nitty-gritty things like how to teach rhythm, how to teach melody, how to teach how to create a program, how to teach form, all of those sorts of things, feel free to check out the other videos on my channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Have a fantastic day.